Hello and welcome. It's the 24th day of January 2023, and it is another beautiful day for us to bring you the newspaper review here on TAP TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and I'm saying a very big thank you to you for joining me on another interesting episode of the newspaper review. Mr. Victor Sioku is the person, as usual, as always, to look at the headlines in today's papers with me. Sir, how do you do?
I'm all right, and how about you?
I'm fine.
Good to see you.
Today's papers will be starting first by looking at the Daily Sun newspaper, where we have interesting headlines. We'll be starting first by looking at this one on page 6. This one says, elections. 3.5 million students won't vote. Elections, 3.5 million students won't vote. Will be in school during elections, whereas they registered at home. Nigerians knock varsities, police for not considering academic break. Okay, more details of this headline is on page 6. Get a copy of Daily Sun for yourself. Next here in Daily Sun, we have PDP insists Tinubu cannot contest 2023 polls, heads to court. PDP insists Tinubu cannot contest 2023 polls, heads to court. Okay, that's on page 29 of the Daily Sun. On page 24 and 25, we have old Naira. Nigerians lament over long queues at ATM points. CBN under pressure as deadline draws near. Okay, like I said, more details of that headline is on page 24 and 25 of the Daily Sun. And over here on page 28, we have Oni of Ife demands end to human trafficking. Seeks stiffer punishment for culprits. Oni of Ife demands end to human trafficking. Seeks stiffer punishment for culprits. Okay, that's on page 28. On page 22, we have NACO suspends 14-hour strike. International local flights grounded. NACO suspends 14-hour strike. International local flights grounded. That's on page 22. And on page 6 again, we have the Sun Awards. The Sun Awards have raised expectations for us to work harder. The Sun Awards have raised expectations for us to work harder, according to Ikioma and Chukwu Dozie on page 6 of the Daily Sun. On page 27, we have we are collaborating with EFCC, ICPC to check vote buying. According to INEC on page 27, we are collaborating with EFCC, ICPC to check vote buying. That's INEC saying on page 27. And lastly, for today in the Daily Sun newspaper, we have on page 26, TikTok launches safer together with a consciousness for its users to stay safe in and off app. TikTok launches safer together with a consciousness for its users to stay safe in and off app. Okay, more of that headline is on page 26 of the Daily Sun. Okay, that's it for Daily Sun newspaper. Mr. Victor, which of these headlines? Okay, I think there's a particular headline here I'd like you to react to, which is the one on page 6. What do you make of, the 3.5 million students that won't be voting in this coming election?
Well, the numbers are there, and it's unfortunate from my own standing. It's something that somehow is also inevitable, because if you come from the backdrop that the students are just trying to also catch up with the calendar, then you ask,
should that be an excuse, Mr. Victor? Is that a tangible excuse, given the fact that whoever turns out to be, or whatever leader that we finally get to elect come February, would also have a way of impacting the academic and educational sector in this country?
Siri, there is a lot to that now. Okay, let me go down. Mind you, there are some students out there that they don't even have money to feed. Then you're not telling them to pay their transport, let's say from Lagos to Port Harcourt, to come and vote.
Okay.
My brother, it's not that easy, man. Yes, we are patriotic, but come to think of it, when you don't have, do you expect the persons to trek from such distance? Then,
Mr. Victor,
mind you, we have 2 days. We have 2 days of election. So will they do the to and fro? The problem is from the structure itself in Nigeria.
Okay.
I don't expect in the age of technology that I must vote where I registered.
I don't know. Personally, I feel like
or we also have instances where the transfer really worked, transfer of centers,
yes,
but it had a timeline which has ended some months back when the registration stopped.
Okay.
So we do not expect the students cannot transfer down to their school right now. Are you getting me? So these
Mr. Victor, when you think about the fact that these same students will actually still come out to protest if the government doesn't really favor them or look in their direction, you know, we also need to also put that into consideration to say, no, these students should have a say on who becomes their next president.
Let's not blame it on the current INEC right now, because there are a whole lot of things attached to this. Do you not? Are you not saying that because, well, INEC, their own is to do the job prescribed by the Constitution. The Constitution does not allow for late transfer of polling units.
Okay.
So it's not left for the students that have the resources, and I will not use time. I think resources is the main thing right now. That have the resources to make those trips. Yes, there are some persons out there that will be voting outside where they live. Maybe you might want to vote at your hometown, might want to vote at your village. Okay, but for this student, yes, 3.5 is a lot, mind you.
Yes.
But let's also go back to
imagine removing 3.5 from the already registered voters.
Yes, the 93.5, about 93.5. So we are talking about 90 million Nigerians, about 90 million Nigerians when you remove these students that will not be voting. But let me also shock you that I will be shocked if 50% of the registered voters come out to vote on that day.
So we're just talking about... What are you insinuating by that? That Nigerians who have actually registered won't come out to vote?
My brother, it is there.
Not all of them.
No, how can all Nigerians come out to vote? Not even 70% now. They will not make it. The reason why I'm saying
you are so certain about it.
No, now you cannot have 100 persons that registered and you expect the whole 100 to come and vote. You can't even expect 70% of them to come and vote on that day. Reason.
People will make an excuse. Some people will make an excuse.
Excuses will come out now. Okay. And some persons will not, even from the registered vote, many of them will not even get the PVC.
And then when the country goes bad, those same people will now come out and say, oh, the government, the government that.
Oh, sure. That will definitely happen. But let's also take it away that last time we did not have, when we had about 60 million voters, we did not get up to 50% of them coming out to vote. So if we are able to get 50% this year, that will be a thing of joy for the entire country. Okay, the turnout will be recorded massive. But yes, aside that, we should also have in mind that, just like I said, registered voters will not have their PVC. That would happen. We also have cases whereby some persons that have registered and have collected their PVCs have jackpot. They have left the country.
Okay.
Either for greener pasture, either for one trade or one reason or the other. Okay. We'll also have persons that will not be able to vote, maybe because they are dead, or maybe they are ill, or maybe one thing or the other related to health and life.
Okay.
Might have happened to them.
So you're saying we can't really put all the blame on INEC
you cannot.
For what's going on now.
We will also definitely have persons that don't have transportation to go to their polling units on that election day. So many issues like that. And that's why but
I believe if
some things are happening.
Honestly, Mr. Victor, I believe if the state of the country right now is one that as you know, it's actually very tiring and needs to be changed, and you as a citizen of this country, you have been seeing how things have been for the past few months now, how hard and tough things are, you know, the cost of living increasing, and then you have a chance to change all of that on a particular day or 2 days, and you are making excuses, then I don't.
It will also you are looking strong-willed. It also takes some strong persons out there to say, I must go out and vote, no matter what comes my way.
At this point, if you are not strong-willed to change the fortunes of this country, then who are you? I don't think you should be in this country in the first place. Sincerely speaking, because Nigeria right now needs a change?
Yeah,
The cost of living is increasing
implore
every
the
day, and
viewers.
sincerely speaking, you know, the heat is becoming too much. I don't know what to do anymore. And then someone
See,
is saying because of transportation or this one, I will not go. Really? Seriously?
and I should also tell Nigeria should know that the government have used our money to prepare for this election. It will be so
Exactly.
lame of us that
Exactly.
you've gotten your PVC, which you know that PVC is not free. It is still taxpayers' money.
You suffered
It
to
is
get
still
it.
your money. The preparations, all this preparation, the ballot box, the ballot papers, it's still our money. The Nigerian government have given you that right to go out there to express yourself, to choose who you want to lord over you, to rule you,
And
to
you want to
lead
make
you.
excuses for
And you
that.
now want to make excuse, maybe because you want to use that Saturday to rest, or you want to use that Saturday to watch Netflix or football.
Have you not been resting other Saturdays? Come on, Nigerians. Let's do this. Let's take this country in our hands come the elections day. Okay. We'll look at the Guardian newspaper now. Thank you, Mr. Victor, for sharing your thoughts on that particular headline in the Daily Sun newspaper. Over now to the Guardian newspaper, where we have some more interesting headlines. This one says 65 million naira lost as NPA shuts Lagos port over Buhari's visit. 65 million naira lost as NPA shuts Lagos port over Buhari's visit. Okay. Down here on page 6, the bottom corner of the Guardian, we have air travelers stranded as NACO workers down tools over poor pay. Air travelers stranded as NACO workers down tools over poor pay. Okay, more details of that is on page 6. We have here on page 5, this one says, focus on issues-based campaigns. Stop outburst of anger. YCE. Afenifere tells politicians, focus on issues-based campaigns. Stop outbursts of anger. YCE. Afenifere tells politicians. That's on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Over now to page 3, we have I never made comment on northern domination of Nigeria, says Soyinka. I never made comment on northern domination of Nigeria, says Soyinka. That more of that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And still on page 3, we have PSC denies supporting elongation of IGP's tenure. PSC denies supporting elongation of IGP's tenure. Okay, more of that is on page 3 as well. On page 4, okay, lastly on page 7, I beg your pardon, we have IPOB suspends Kingsley Kanu over infractions, anti-group activities. IPOB suspends Kingsley Kanu over infractions, anti-group activities. Okay, more of that is on page 7 of the Guardian. That's the much we can take in the Guardian newspaper. Mr. Victor, which of these headlines would you want to talk about?
Okay, I'd like to talk about the ports, the new ports, the deep sea port, the Lekki deep sea port that was inaugurated by the president, President Muhammad Buhari, yesterday. Okay, at Lekki. A thing of joy, my brother, because
What do you make of the 65 million naira that was lost as a result of that unveiling?
My brother, it is not. Yeah, it is a whole lot of money, and well, I say I'm not gonna give excuse about that, but man, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. The reason I'm saying this is because we just have to count on the major blessing, and the major blessing out here is that we have a deep sea port that costed us 1.5 billion. Not just us. Yes, it is a government private partnership, and it's going to bring a whole lot of jobs to Nigerians. Okay, it's been touted that it will be bringing about 170,000 direct and indirect jobs, and we are
over
very
200,000, I think.
Okay, some reports even said 250, but I just took the one of 170. Let me not overbloat the numbers. Okay, and we are also very sure that our Western neighbors, as in the Western African neighbors, that they will be able to patronize this initiative, because this size of project can be spread out to, as in we can do business with our western neighbors, because the magnitude of this project can clear so much containers per day. Okay, and we have a situation whereby it is more like the 4 times the capacity and the size of the Tinkan Island at the Apapa port. So it's a whole lot for the country. And kudos to Lagos government.
It's a huge one, a huge project.
Kudos to Sanwo-Olu, kudos to the current president, because these are the kind of initiative that we want. Yes, we cannot also shy away from the tensions that will come from other parts of the country. Be like, why is it just Lagos? When we have a thing,
there are already noises happening here and there. Why is it happening just in Lagos? What's happening to this side? What's going on here?
My brother. Well, we should also note that the Calabar deep sea port is ongoing. Okay, so let's not also panic so much. But yeah, there are still discussions that can come out of it, but I think not for today. I want us to celebrate. I want us to celebrate. I want us to be happy, because yes, this is also bringing so much wealth
do you really think this particular story is enough for Nigerians to celebrate with all the problems?
It is a lot. And yes, for the
all the problems happening now in the country. Hunger here and there, poverty.
For right now, this is serious. Let's just. I know there are many negative things.
There are still persons who will not laugh at this, who won't even smile. Say, yes, what's going on?
I know, but it is going to bring so much money to the country. You're talking about almost a $200 billion dollar revenue that will be coming through this project. Man, let's cut them some slack. They've done. This is the kind of investment that we want in this country. Right. And mind you, the kind of development that will come towards that area. And mind you, this is the same area, not so far from the Dangote refinery. I hope our producers can show some links of our reports with respect to this. This Lekki Deep Sea projects. So it will bring so much development around that region, down to even Ogun State, Ijabu, all those places will be big satellite towns that will bring massive investment. Okay, I can't mention banks, call it communication lines. A whole lot of recreational places will spring up in these zones. Real estate investment will boom. Okay, so a whole lot of goodies coming out from this region. And yes, it will also reduce the traffic.
Good times ahead.
Sure, it will reduce the traffic from that Apapa and the Tinkan Wharf, where you have rats. Yes, I just pray that those wharf rats will not just come and put spread their bad venoms around that region, because they are a lot around that Apapa region. Yes, and the government should make sure that their urban planning should be in accordance with the rules, in accordance with the plan, the total plan of that, because we don't want a situation whereby before you know it, in the next few years, maybe 4 years, you start hearing that the roads out there are bad, that people cannot move again, that it will take you like 3 hours to just make a 1 kilometer journey. So we don't want such instances. And yes, they should also make sure that the rail line that they want to pass through that zone, and mind you, this, by the time the refinery comes alive and you have that yes, the first container has arrived, the first vessel has arrived there, and when you now have that, imagine having a rail line around that corridor that will now spread to other parts of the country, which you know that China, developed countries, they have all that. And yes, it's good to copy in this case. Copy well, okay? Copy real good in this case, where you have, I can't just
copy the good things.
I can't just wait when we have a rail line on that axis. You know the kind of wealth creation that will cause the country. My brother, they should kudos.
Good times ahead.
Kudos to the Lagos government, please. I know, some supporters of Tinubu will not like this.
Okay.
Whenever they talk about Lagos, they could talk about Tinubu. This is not the talk. This is not what I want us to talk today. Okay. But yeah, kudos to them. And yes, kudos to the government of Lagos State. Today they will be inaugurating. Buhari is still in town. He'll be inaugurating by this time he has inaugurated the blue chip and the blue and the red line of the trains. Okay, that is so good wonderful initiative. Yes, another banter that came out, please, lastly,
Okay.
another banter that came out from all this, that the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Buhari, will be staying in a hotel. And they're like, why would the president come to Lagos and be staying in a hotel when you have accommodations, as in all those licensing accommodation, all those private accommodation that you just see, okay, for the presidency. There is not, if you go to Abuja, if you go to Lagos, you will see Rivers House, you see Bayelsa House. Almost every state have their houses there. So you now ask, is it that the president does not have a house in Lagos? Why will he be staying in a hotel? And mind you, even before the war, we had mind you, the power, as in the center of power, was in Lagos before it was now moved to Abuja. What then happened to those houses, the seat of power? What happens to those structures that we had back in the day? Is it that they just left it to go moribund? So a whole lot, man. So, but congratulations again.
Yeah,
to the
congratulations to
Lagos
Lagos
State
government.
at large.
Congratulations to them, and lots of interesting times ahead. We'll go on a quick break right now, and when we return, we'll take our last paper for the day, and then we'll call it a day on the program for today. So please stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited. Hello and welcome back. Still on the newspaper review, we'll be taking a look at the leadership newspaper, okay, which is our last paper for today. So on page 4 of the leadership, we have more patients at risk as myths drain blood banks. More patients at risk as myths drain blood banks. Okay, that's on page 4 of the leadership. And on page 6, we have all northern governors are behind Tinubu, according to Lalong. All northern governors are behind Tinubu, according to Lalong. Okay, on page 6. On page 6 again, we have $460,000 for feature. Atiku initiates court action against Tinubu. $460,000 for feature. Atiku initiates court action against Tinubu. That's on page 6 of the leadership. And on page 10, we have Obi in Katsina vows to tackle poverty. Obi in Katsina vows to tackle poverty. That's on page 10 of the leadership. On page 8, we have Etsu Nupe confirms attendance at leadership conference. Etsu Nupe confirms attendance at leadership conference. On page 8, we have Najatu was a mole in APC. Najatu was a mole in APC. We sacked her for incompetence, according to Campaign Council on page 8. Najatu was a mole in APC. We sacked her for incompetence, according to Campaign Council. And this one here on page 21 says Lekki Deep Sea Port targets $361 billion revenue, 200,000 jobs. Okay. That's a huge one there on page 20. Lastly, on page 20 in the leadership, we have FIRS rakes in 10.1 trillion naira in 2022, sets highest collection record. FIRS rakes in 10.1 trillion naira in 2022, sets highest collection record. That's on page 20 of the leadership. That's the much you can take in the leadership for today. Mr. Victor, what do you make of Obi's visit to Katsina and him vowing to tackle poverty? How do you react to that statement from Obi?
Okay, I think he had a good time
Mm.
in Katsina, and being the state where our president hails from, so the turnout was okay for me. As in considering that He's from the south, and not just from the south. He does not have those. Will I say clout? Would I use the word clout over there? I'm trying to be as factual as I can be. So you cannot also, in terms of the optics, you can't compare the massive turnout for Atiku and Tinubu in that same state. Okay, but what the permutations that have been going on that in Katsina that he is short of 25% of the votes. Personally, I do not see that coming.
Okay.
Personally, I do not see that coming.
Why?
For Katsina? Because Katsina is it's an APC state. It's the same state where the president hails from. Um, Technically, I do not see him gathering numbers from there. And
Anything could happen. There could be a
Katsina is
miracle.
not really a mixed state, mind you. Many Nigerians have embraced tribal voting.
Okay.
You can't shy away from that. One might say, this particular election that it will be different. It might be different, but I think
Might not.
the margins might not just be too wowing. Okay, personally. So he had a good time out there. Then you ask, how is he going to end poverty in such a place? Because you cannot also take it out that the people of Katsina have seen hell in these within the past few years, and we know that banditry has been on the rise over there, and that has also reduced their production, their level of production in that state. So what is he going to do? He said he's going to open the borders, and he is also going to fight insecurity. I think for Katsina, for Katsina to go back to its glory days, first and foremost, they need to fight insecurity over there. And also, for them to have a very good long-term plan, they need to make sure that education comes back to that state, because we have a record numbers of children out of school there. And you know what that means. When they become adults, it will be, in many cases, it becomes so difficult for those kids to make a decent living. Yeah. So kudos to the Labour Party for having a good turnout.
Exactly. Kudos to the Labour Party for having a good time in Katsina. All right, that's the much we can take on today's episode of the Newspaper Review. Thank you so much for staying faithful to your screen up until this time, because without you, we would not be here. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor, for coming through.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and this is the end of the road for us. My name is Cyril Aloysius. If you are just seeing this video for the very first time, please subscribe. Okay, click subscribe, and after clicking subscribe, make sure you also turn on your notification bell so you get notified when we come online and drop a new video. And also do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. On YouTube, we're TAF TV on YouTube. On Instagram, we're TAF TV_NG. Facebook, we're TAF TV, and on Twitter, we're TAF TV. Okay, until we come your way again next time, do enjoy the rest of your days. Bye for now.